Welcome to Escalation. In our introduction to Python for beginners, we discussed data types, we learned numbers. In this video, let's understand strings in more detail. Strings, as the name suggests, are nothing but sequence of textual data stored as bytes, which means it is splitting each character to a byte and storing at different locations. For example, I will assign a text Python for beginners to a variable s. And we can fetch the characters using indexes. As in, I can now fetch the second or the third character from this string using index. That's because it is stored as a sequence. Let us check the location of the string and each item to confirm the same. If you look at these memory locations, there is one location which is pointing to our actual string, and each item in the string are stored at different locations. Here, we can assume that the string location is pointing to each character's memory location rather than storing the string itself. These type of data are called sequence data types. Other sequence data types in Python includes lists and tuples, which we will be discussing in our upcoming videos. Now let's deep dive to understand it more. We'll start by printing all the characters' locations along with the character itself. If you notice, same characters in the string are not stored separately. Instead, it's just pointing to same location. In this example, the spaces are pointing to the same location. Letter N in the word beginner is occurring twice and hence pointing to the same location. Now we will try updating the string and check the locations again. Let me update it by replacing spaces with an underscore, for which I will use a built-in string function called replace and pass arguments of string that need to be replaced, which is space in this case, and new string to be replaced by, which is an underscore. By updating the same string variable and checking the location as earlier, the location of the string is changing, which means it is getting created as a new object and not overwriting the existing. However, those items or characters that are not changed will still be in the same location, and only the updated items or the new characters are getting stored in a new location. In other words, that is also getting created as a new object. Hence, strings are immutable. Let us look at it visually to understand indexes, memory locations, and mutability of strings much easier. Strings are stored as sequences and each item is stored separately. Similar characters point to the same location. The actual string is pointing to these locations. And when there is a change in the value, it will create a new object of the string, and internally it will keep the existing items and create new objects only for the new items. As in our previous example where we replaced spaces with an underscore, as underscore was not a part of our string earlier, it will point to a new location. In another example, let us say we replace letter S to a space. Because space was already present in our initial string where it pointed to location 7, now the replaced value will start pointing to location 7 itself instead of creating a new object. Also, it is case sensitive. For example, let's replace letter T with a capital P and letter H with a small p. As we already have a capital P at location 1, there is no need to create a new object for capital P. However, for the smaller case, it will go ahead and create a new object, and again the string location will change as and when we make some change to the string itself. Now that we understood mutability of strings and how it is getting saved in memory, let's look at different ways of creating strings. It can be created by using single or double quotes. We can embed the phrase Python for beginners either between a single or a double quote in our example, and it still works. That is because we can embed the other type of quote inside this text if needed. For example, if we have a phrase, I have been learning Python from Escalation, we can create this string with single quotes by using double quotes on either sides. Similarly, another example where the phrase could be, he said, I'm learning Python from E-Skillation, where I'm doing just the opposite of what I did previously. Use single quotes on either sides and embed double quotes inside. In these two strings, we have quotes and we are using the other type of quote respectively to create the variables. What happens if I use the same type of quote? Well, it throws a syntax error. Now you might think, what if I have sentences with both quotations? For which we can always use escape character to consider the quote inside the string, which is a backslash just before the quote. Then the type of quotes outside does not matter. There is another way of writing textual data by using triple quotes on either sides, doing which we can include new lines without any escape characters. These triple quotes can be either single or double quotes too. In our next video, let us continue string literals along with escape characters in an extended way. Subscribe to my channel to get notifications on upcoming videos.